Hey guys, using the sexy mic to broadcast a repulsive voice here, and yeah, I've played this game for about 26 hours now, got pretty decently kind of far into it, and just thought that since it came free on PlayStation about a week ago, and it's just a good game, I didn't make like a sort of beginner's guide on it, just like do the things that I've learned, up to the point I am, which will probably be a while, because that's, you know, like 26 hours in, but I know what I'm doing now. So probably won't be that long. Anyways, I'm just thinking about like making a series of like the basics and then more advanced stuff. This first one, so obviously being the first video, starting with just the basic resources like titanium, copper, gold, what is it, lead, silver, as well as food, water, and health. And so we're just gonna start a new game on survival. We're gonna watch through the cutscene, and I'm not gonna like baby through it for like every button to press, because I assume if you're playing this game, you have the general gist of like a you know, how sort of game's supposed to be played. I also won't be like looking through every single PDA and stuff. I'll be leaving that guys to do for a few reasons. One, so I don't spoil anything, and two, just so I don't sit there. But yeah, we'll watch the cutscene now, and then I'll pick back up when we actually gain control of the player.
Attention. Hull failure imminent. All personnel abandon ship. Launch in 3, 2, 1.
First things first, when you're able to actually move and do stuff in the game when you stand up here, first thing you want to do is obviously take the fire extinguisher, put out the fire there, so yeah, you don't get burned alive, that's probably a smart thing to do, so go ahead and do that, and yeah, the next thing you want to do is just, well, it's automatic, you'll like look through your PDA here. But like, if you've never played the game, there's a few articles on here about just like some of the lore before the game. But yeah, I don't. Again, I'm not really gonna like go in depth of like what everything is and what it all does here, and it's like the very beginning. Like later on when you build some stuff, like the knife or whatever, I'll explain like what it's used for. But I want to leave that kind of stuff to you guys, like all the PDA documents and stuff. So the very first thing would be health, first resource, and that can be gotten from the medical kit fabricator here, which will produce one medical, or first aid kit, every 30 minutes, and later on you can build some of these with them in your base, but for now you have one of them in your life pod here. They come back to you, and every 30 minutes, just pick one up and use it in inventory when you're at a low health. So, climbing up the ladder here, we can see where we spawn. And so, your spawn is actually completely random, well, random to an extent. There's a random location in the safe channels, which is the first biome in the game, which is both safe and shallow, obviously. And yeah, so it's a pretty random location in the safe shallows. So yeah, generally you're going to be like around the side of the ship, back here somewhere. But it doesn't really matter where you spawn, as you'll be able to get resources and travel around all the same. So I'm just going to jump into the water here and move on to the second resource, food, which I'm sure you can imagine by, you know, the game being about fish. What we'll be eating here. In fact, we just stumbled upon a very good fish, because this is a multi-purpose. This is the bladderfish, which can be both cooked to eat and also used to make some water early on. So we pick one of those up, and then yeah. So in this first area here, probably the best fish in terms of like how much food it actually gives you would be the peeper, and you'll know it's pretty iconic. You'll know because it's got like a blue body and like a yellow eye. It's pretty iconic. See if yep, there it is. I got two here. Here's one. Pick it up, and then there's the second one up here. You can't go that fast right now, so that'd be a bit hard to catch them, but yeah, so you won't need to like stock up tons and tons of food early on, just because, well, for reasons. One, because it won't last very long unless you cure it, which I'll explain later, and 2, it's just not a very smart thing to do because we'll be getting sustainable food and water a few episodes later, and so we won't really have to worry about that. So the first thing that, yeah, make sure you do go up above water when you get the oxygen warning, since you don't have an oxygen tank or anything yet. But now that we've got your food, the first thing you want to do to eat, go back in your life pod here. I'm going through the bottom entrance, so you can go down to the ladder, bottom of here, when you're in the water, and use the fabricator here, which is like the game's crafting station. Again, you can also create these later in the game, place them in your bases, but there's also one in the center life pod. So we're going to open it, go down to sustenance, and there's food, water here, and cured food. So I'll explain this real quick. Water can be made by the bladderfish that I picked up, which, see the little picture there. If you see them early on in the game, they're good to pick up, because like I said, they can make water, which is kind of hard to come by, well, for a little bit, I suppose. So you do want to pick up bladderfishes if you see them, and also peepers, as I did. And so, yeah, you can cook the fish in the fabricator here, which will obviously give it much more, like, nourishment, I guess. But the thing is, and where curing food comes in, is that if it's been in your inventory for too long, probably like 3 or 4 minutes, it will start to rot and no longer be very good. Since we just cooked it, it's good and fresh, so we can go eat all of them. But that's where curing food comes in. If you cook a fish and have a concept of salt, which you can usually find at the ocean bed down here, it will never expire, and so you can eat it at any time. It is a bit dehydrating because of the salt, obviously, but it's a better alternative to just having your food rot. So, see if we can find some salt here and just demonstrate that real quick. You'll know when you see it. It's just like a bunch of white little blocks on the ground. Sometimes you have to look a bit for it, but it's pretty distinct. Let's see if we can find some. Usually it's further on into this biome, which, oh, is that some?
Oxygen.
And this is some, I don't know why it's like lodged in there, but here's some salt, go back to the surface, and now whatever fish we find, we can cure so that it will not expire. So we'll just got any fish here to demonstrate it, preferably a peeper, looks like we got one here. And we can go back to the life pod to cure it. And then, well, I guess I already showed you water, just like conveniently found the bladderfish off spawn. So yeah, that's water from bladderfishes. Food from peepers, or really any fish, but peepers are generally the best at this location. And health from the medkit fabricator, meaning the next thing we're going to go on to is resources, which I mentioned a bit earlier, which you're going to need to craft everything, obviously, but mostly the tools here that are going to be very helpful early game. So, cure food, just go in sustenance again, down here, below food, cured food, and you can make a cured peeper. So it's like out the peeper on my salt deposit. So again, this will not expire, so I can go ahead and place on my storage here, which is also basic with the life pod. And I forgot to mention there is some stuff in here. There's 2 flares, 2 filtered water, and 2 nutrient blocks. I would not recommend eating the nutrient blocks unless you really need to, just because they are pretty good, and yeah, 75 food gives like the most food in the game of any item, so they're pretty good, and I wouldn't use them unless you have to. The water, however, since you can get from bladderfish, is fine to take and use whenever you need. So yeah, now onto the resources. So there are 2 deposits of stuff that you'll be able to find in this region, Safe Shallows and the Kelp Forest, which I showed you a bit of over there. And that is a limestone and sandstone. Sandstone is a bit more uncommon and is usually found further out regions, but limestone is fairly common around here. Got some down here. There's limestone, yes. And limestone can give you one of 2 things. It can either give you titanium, which is a very basic crafting metal used for lots of things, or it can give you copper. Copper is a bit more rare and is used for electronics. We probably won't use it too much very early on, but it can be pretty helpful later. So it's great part by mashing whatever button X on the PS4, and we got copper, which is nice. So you'll need a lot of titanium, but you don't really want to rely on limestone ingots to give you that. Oh wow, look at that, we got a message. Oh yes, it's yo, ayo, talking Brooklyn moment? Yes, I am. In fact, I'm trying to record a little beginner's guide here. So, yeah, you won't really need to. Oh, another message. What do we have here? Oh, yeah, the mullet emoji. That's nice. So you won't have to rely on the limestone deposits for titanium because it's very common in other places in this biome, well, every biome really, which is the scrap metal and the debris from the aurora, as you can see right here. So it takes the 4 inventory slots, but it can be transmuted into 4 titanium in your fabricator, as so. You can find it all over the place, and again, it does take a 4 slots, so I can't carry too much, but you go in your fabricator, go in basic resources or materials, and you can fit it to 4 titanium. So the basic tools that we're going to want to start off with are, let's see here, equipment actually. The standard oxygen tank is probably the first thing you're going to make. All you need is 3 titanium. Like I said, you get 4 just from that debris, so you can very easily make it and equip. I believe it's it's automatically equipped, so you don't have to worry about that, which will obviously let you swim underwater for longer, so that's good. Another helpful thing is fins, but we can't make that yet. That makes you swim faster. So yeah, fins and the oxygen tank are 2 pretty important things in the equipment section. But for tools, there's a few things we want. We want the scanner, the repair tool, the flashlight, the knife, and later on the half-pit loader. But probably the biggest thing is the knife and the scanner. So for the scanner, we need a battery and titanium. We've already got the titanium, and for a battery, you need 1 copper and 2 acid mushrooms. We have the copper, and so all we need to find is acid mushrooms, which I'll show in a minute. And for the knife, we need silicone. Oh, another message. Yes, okay. For the survival knife, we need silicone rubber, which... make that again. Let me go ahead and check. Silicone rubber. Oh, yes. So, for silicone rubber, you will need... Oh, wow, I got there quick. You will need 2 seed clusters from kelp plants, which I'll show in a minute. But first things first, we need those 2 acid mushrooms for the scanner and the battery. So we got the copper, and we need 2 acid mushrooms, and they just look like this. Yeah, I advise not hitting them with your knife later on, as they will like explode and deal damage to you. Get 1, 2, and we can make a battery to make the scanner. But before we do that, we're gonna go and find those 2 seed clusters. They are pretty bright, so you should be able to see them from pretty far away. But they're in the kelp forest biome, which is usually a bit further out from. Oh, I went too far. My bad. Which is usually a bit further out from where you spawn. We spawned on this. Okay, we got a kind of an interesting spawn here. I think the kelp forest is like all the way that way. But you'll know when you see it. It's got really big like stalks of kelp with the yellow seed pads attached to them. And again, the spawns are random somewhere in the safe shallows, so you might have to explore a bit to find what I'm talking about. But you know, may or may not happen. It's taking forever. Alright, I know it's definitely this way. It's a bit further than I thought. We also don't have fins, like I said, so it takes us forever to get there. And so, I believe we need 2 seed clusters for 1 fiber. Is that right? Probably. So, we're going to want to pick up 4, because the fins take the fiber, and so does the knife. We take that. But apparently we can't. Okay, 0 points, so it's right around. There obviously will be faster ways to get around the map later on in the game, but right now we don't have fins, we don't have a sea glide, or anything like that, so it does take like ages to get from one part of the biome to the next. But it won't be long before we're able to get parts for a feature called sea glide, which will allow us to get around a lot faster. But yeah. Maybe I just lost all hope of finding a kelp forest now. Wait, gas spots, that's a good sign. Oh. I blame this entirely on the darkness. Hey, we're here! I can see it in the water. This is the kelp forest. You can see by the seed ponds, which were about to come in view. I can really just see it from like the water will turn a bit greener. And yeah, these big stalks of kelp. These are not the. There they are. These are the sea ponds. These are gauchopods, which can damage you, but they're defensive, meaning unless you like go at them or fight them, they won't really try to damage you. Oh, 2 viewers spicing things up now. So yeah, we're gonna get 4 seed clusters so that we're able to make the knife and the fins. Let's go up to it. Get 1. I guess it's times 2, 3, and 4. And then back to our life. But how far is it from here? I feel like I'm not pretty far. Oh wow, 400 meters. That's gonna take a while. Well, okay. Yeah. That's gonna take. Looks like I spawned on the very eastern edge, which is not really a good thing because almost there's good stuff over there, but not like you're just beginning. And you need to get to the kelp forest for certain things. It takes a while to go back and forth. But where we spawned is good later on when we're able to move faster and have access to more stuff. As of now, taking a few light years to get back to our pod. Yeah, when we do, we're gonna convert the seeds into the fiber, and then make the fins to go a bit faster in water. And the knife, which will allow us to get a few other things used for the, what's it called, habitat builder maybe? I think you need it for that. It'll also allow us to get a better source of water without using bladderfish. It's a much more efficient method, but bladderfish are always reliable if you do need water that way. So, we finally made it. Go back up. Oh, okay, maybe not. Pick up, convert our seeds into synthetic fiber, or silicone rubber. That's what I was confused. I forgot it's a rubber. Looks like I got more than I needed, but it's whatever. Oh, 4 messages. I was opening up my phone here, so I don't have to keep pausing the broadcast. 1 minute. Yo, I'm back. Imagine being back. Okay, so the 2 things we want to craft is first the fins here, which, like I said, will allow us to go faster, and the knife here. And yeah, so the fins are already equipped, so we'll go a bit faster. It's not too noticeable, but it is helpful. And then the knife, which will allow us to farm a bunch of things better, faster, more efficiently, and we can also fight some smaller creatures with this. You probably won't see me for a while, but it is good for that too. So the other tools that we want are the scanner, the repair tool, the flashlight, and the habitat builder. Habitat builder is later on though. So what we really need right now is the repair tool, the flashlight, and the scanner. The scanner is probably top priority. However, we can pretty much make the scanner. All we're going to need is that titanium, because we got those things for the battery earlier, which were the acid mushrooms and the copper. So we'll craft the battery, and all we need now is 1 titanium. You can easily get, hey, it's warning again. You can easily get by swimming down and finding more of that debris, which is pretty common all over the place. Especially near wrecks like this one. If you just look around, there will be some. What is this? Oh, that'll be helpful later. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm gonna try to stack up on a lot here. Actually, while we're at it, one of the things that we're gonna need for the repair tool is in here, which is cave sulfur. Yeah, I should probably warn you before I go in here. To get this cave sulfur, you have to go in caves, obviously, and there's a thing guarding them called a crash fish. And when you get near it, it'll come out of this little, like, pond thing, attack you, blow up, and then you'll be able to harvest the sulfur. So it is, like, the first real hostile creature that you encounter, probably, if you're going through resources and stuff. But, yeah, it's not really scary or anything. It can kill you if you have, like, low health, but you should be fine. Just try not to let it hit you straight on, and you'll be fine. So get back in the cave system here. It might not be in this one, but it should be. Let's say that quartz here, which is used to make glass. We don't need it right now, but we will later on. Can do it down here, maybe. It might not be something scared, actually. We'll see. It doesn't look like it. Oh, it goes deeper down.
Detecting sulfur deposits in
Oh,
the local
yep.
cave systems.
our PDA just told us that there's sulfur nearby. But I guess Monk's gonna give them this brain coral. It's pretty handy. Maybe.
30 seconds.
Maybe. Thank you. Yeah. Where's that sulfur at though? I should also probably be mining these. I'm not sure why I'm not. Probably doing a mine any titanium or especially sandstone deposits that you go by. Not every single one maybe, but it's just good to grab them either way. I guess we'll have to come back for the sulfur later because I just apparently cannot seem to find it. I know it's right around here though, but yeah.
Oxygen.
Am I gonna be fine here? I might. No, maybe. Am I gonna drown here? Okay, I'm not. If you do die or lose some of the stuff in your inventory and it'll just be right back at your life spot, it's not a big deal. If you die like really far away, then you have to go all the way back there to get your stuff. But for the most part, it's not too big of a deal. And you won't lose your tools or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. You only lose like loose materials like battery, titanium, maybe water, I'm not sure, stuff like that. Anyways, we're gonna convert that scrap into titanium so that we're able to make the scanner, which is arguably the most important thing in this entire game. What's that take? Okay. We'll make that soon. The scanner. So this has a lot of uses.
The scanner can be used to synthesize
But yeah, so I'll just introduce it here. It obviously can scan anything from plants to animals like this one, and most importantly, fragments. So I'll just like show you here, like we'll scan this acid mushroom. Hold down the trigger, you can open your PDA, it'll give you like a little description of whatever you scan, which is helpful for things that you don't know, like what they use for. Like table coral here is used for making a computer chip, but if you didn't know that, you can like scan it and it'll tell you that. But the most important use is to scan fragments, which will allow you to create different things later on in the game, which is honestly very helpful. So, there's fragments everywhere, but they're almost always found in or around a wreck, like this one might be too. Oh, nope. They come in these boxes. They're not always guaranteed, and some of them have, like this one has some fragments in it. Oh, perfect, it's just what we need. But some of them look like this, and you can't actually enter. But the smaller ones that are kind of like busted up, you will find a little compartment which you can scan, set on the side. And this particular fragment gave us one of the two pieces we need for the sea glide, and very conveniently we found, oh, what's this? 3 viewers, what is going on? The second piece for the sea glide there, which is really helpful because that will help us to traverse a lot faster. But we're not going to make that right now. What we need to make is, we got the knife. We don't really need a flashlight. Of course it's helpful later on, but just for the basics here. What we probably really want to make is the repair tool and the high capacity oxygen tank if we can. So all you need for the high capacity oxygen tank is a standard one, which we already have, 4 titanium, which you can get very easily, and then 2 glass and silver. So as I mentioned, the glass can be made from quartz. You need 2 quartz to make 1 glass. So how much should it take? 2, right? Yeah, so we're going to need a total of 4 quartz, and they can be found in caves pretty commonly, like the one that we found down here. Just a life pod. Okay, it was right around here. We should be able to get our 4 quartz. There's a lot of debris down here we can take. Where was it? Right around here. Maybe. Oh, what's this? Oh, this looks like it goes pretty deep. Okay, we can definitely find some sulfur in here though, but I don't know if you want to go too deep into this since we don't have the... Oh, here's some quartz, but we don't have the high oxygen tank yet. So yeah, we need 4 quartz. It's found on the bottom of stuff like this. We need to get this quartz and get back up before we can go back down here. Is there 4 here? There might not be 4.
30 seconds.
Okay, we're gonna go back up. Go back down to get some more quartz, but the final ingredient for the high capacity tank there was 1 piece of silver, which, as I mentioned earlier, can be gotten from sandstone shops, and I did see one going down here. It's not guaranteed, it's a 1 in 3 chance. They can drop gold, lead, or silver, Oh, here they are. Alright. Probably get some here. Yeah, we got lucky, got our first try, and got some gold there as well. So yeah, sandstone are a bit more rare, but pretty abundant in this tier actually. Quite a bit. They're a bit more rare than limestone, and drop some better stuff. And we've already got the silver we need for the oxygen tank, and all we need now is 2 quartz so that we're able to make the glass and fully construct it. So I'm just gonna loot a bit more these like resources here. Yeah, you can obviously see what a flashlight is helpful. We'll make it when we can. Oh, here, alright. 3 quartz, and we can find 1 more.
30 seconds.
There we go. Okay, so we got 4 quartz. We're gonna convert that into glass up in our life pond, and then we can make the high capacity oxygen tank, which, as you can see, will be very helpful since we've been running on oxygen very quickly. I believe this will bring us up to just above 100 maybe? Like 120 I think? Because right now we're at what, 75? Yeah. So this should bring us up to like 120 or something. So convert the quartz into glass here. And we have the silver from the sandstone, titanium, and yeah. But as you'll see, it also requires the standard oxygen tank, which we already have, but since it's equipped, it's not in our inventory. So to unequip it, we just go over here, press X, and it'll be back in our inventory. So now we can officially make, oh, that's wrong slot. Now we can officially make it, which will bring our capacity up to around 120, I believe. Let's find out. 135. Okay, so that's pretty good. Just over 2 minutes underwater. And yeah, as I was saying earlier though, we did manage to scan those 2 fragments of sea glide, and we'll see if we can make that now, but I'll go a bit more in depth here. Fragments, again, are found in those little boxes that I showed you guys. They're kind of all over the place, like they're in pretty much every biome. And yeah, the further out biomes that you go to that are obviously more dangerous, have better fragments for better stuff, but you can still find quite a lot of good fragments in the starter biomes, so you don't have to travel up too far. The main ones in the kelp forest and the safe shallows where we are right now are the sea glide, which we have, the mobile vehicle bay, which we can find, the sea moth, and there's a few more which are helpful but not like needed, I guess. But the 2 things, or the 3 things that we really want are the sea glide, which we have, the sea moth, which we try to find, and then the mobile vehicle bay, whatever it's called. So yeah, just kind of scan for wrecks, and they don't have to be on wrecks. See, like just like this, they can be found solo sometimes, but they're almost always around wrecks. And so if you scan a fragment of something that you already have, since we already have a sea glide there, you will get 2 titanium instead, which is, I mean, it's whatever, I guess, something. But yeah, we won't. We'll see if we can find something. No. What's that even used for? This. But now that we're in the kelp forest here, there is one other predator I guess I should mention here, which is the stalker. It's pretty hard to kill with your knife. It takes like forever, so I wouldn't really worry about that. Just trying to stay away from it. It doesn't do too much damage. I think it takes like 4 of your life, but when it hits you, it like goes back for a minute. It won't like consistently attack you like 4 times in a row. So as long as you stay a safe distance away, you'll be fine. It can kind of come up behind you sometimes, but you don't really have to worry about them too much. The only real threat here in these first 2 biomes would probably be the crashfish, which is guarding a sulfur that we still need, and there's a plant. It's like a purple vine. We haven't seen one yet. I will point it out if I see one that if you run into, it doesn't damage you. It kind of shocks you. Those are really the only 2 dangerous things. There might be some of those lines down here. They're usually in the deeper caves of the. Yep, there they are. Usually in the deeper caves of the kelp forest, which we are right now. But yeah, if you bump into them, they will deal some damage to you.
Be advised, a common complication for cave divers is loss of orientation.
Oh, here we are. So here the crowd, it's really dark, so you can craft goes, oh my god, I might actually die here because it's crazy. There's 4, what is this? Somehow did not die, but we just ran into 4 crashfish, which is not what I expected. Anyways, I guess we got 4 sulfur now, even though we only need 1. Like I said, they come out of their little pond things here, and they're guarding the sulfur, which we need to make the repair tool. I think that's really the only time that they're like, the cave sulfur is used. I think that's the only recipe that it is in, so... The good news is you really want to come back here for any more sulfur once you have the one that you need for the, it's called repair tool. So go back to surface, back to the live pond, and make the repair tool probably, and then what's that other thing? The sea glide. We'll see what we need to make that. But yeah, once you've made your basic tools and your high capacity oxygen tank, you're free to do some exploring. Again, make sure to watch your food and health, or food and water. And yeah, that's one other thing I meant to mention. The better way to get water instead of having to use bladderfish all the time, since they are a bit uncommon. There's a better way to make water, which only requires 2 things, and it's pretty helpful. So we'll see what it takes to make the sea glide. We'll build a repair tool, and I'll show you the water. Okay, so that's it. Oh, okay. So rebreather, I didn't forget about that. We won't need that like right now because we're not going to be going too deep. But later on, when we're going like deeper than 100 meters, we'll want that. Because if you go 100 meters deep without one of these, your oxygen will deplete faster than normal, but with these, it will deplete at a normal rate, but we won't really need one of those right now. So, we'll move on to the repair kit, repair tool, which we just made, and see what the sea glide takes, and it's found in deployables here. It takes a battery, lubricant, copper wire, titanium. Copper wire is made with 2 titanium, or I mean 2 copper, which we might be able to make right now. We can't, we need 1 more copper. So we need 1 more copper, lubricant, and a battery. So actually 3 more copper because, yes, 3 more copper because a battery takes 2 copper. No, I'm stupid. We need 2 more copper because we need 1 copper wire, which is made of 2 copper, and 1 battery, which is made of 1 copper, and 2 acid mushrooms. So we've got the acid mushrooms, you need to find 2 copper, and lubricant. And lubricant is made from the sea clusters here that I still have 1 in my inventory, so I guess we got it right now. They're used for both the rubber, they're used to make the fins, and lubricant, which is in a bunch of mechanical stuff that you'll use later on. So I guess we'll go ahead and transfer that into lubricant up here, and basic materials. You can make some silicone rubber there, or lubricant. Making a lubricant, so all we need now is 3 copper. Yeah. Okay. 3 copper. 2 copper. No, I'm done. Whatever. That never happened. I didn't say that. So, 2 copper found in limestone. We are about to.
Vital
Yeah,
signs
I was not paying
stabilizing.
attention to my food and water. Speaking of water, there's a lot of stuff. Alright, I only have 2 things to go over. I gotta get the 2 copper in this water source. So, real quick, the more efficient way of getting water, it only takes 2 things. It is, coral tube, I believe it's called, and salt. So you don't need a knife, but that's really the only thing you need for this. So if you find these coral tubes here, it's dark, I think that's fun. Yeah, they look like this, and all you do is hit them, and you get a part of it added to your inventory. Looks like this. And yeah, so you need 1 of those and 1 salt to make bleach, and you can use that bleach to make 2 purified water. So we're gonna get 2. And then if we can find 2 salt, we can make it into 2 bleach, which equates to 4 water. Really easy way to make it. The hardest part is just finding salt, because after a while, you'll have to go further and further on to find some, but it's really not a challenge. So 2 salt and 2 copper. And we'll have lots of water, and we'll have the sea glide. No, that's trash fish. Yeah, if you see them just trying to run away, they're okay, good bit there. Okay. Where is this thing? Salt. That's what I'm looking for. It's hard to see a knife. I probably already have some. It's very abundant in the kelp forest, which I guess I should have went to. I don't know why I didn't. but yeah. Let's find it in the kelp forest over here to the north, I believe. Yep, going there now. And just watch the ground, look for like little white formations. It's really hard to see because there's like a glare on my screen. Probably walking past like 20 pieces. Ah, I think that's some. No, I lied. It is hard for me to see. I don't know. Here's a fragment thing now. Let's see if we can get lucky and get like a steam out our mobile vehicle bay. Hey, we didn't get one of the mobile vehicle bay. We need 3 of those, so 2 more. Where is the salt? There's another fragment piece I found up my life again. Yeah, this is why I should have got the flashlight. What do I need for that again? Probably do want to make that. Like I said, it's not necessary, but it's pretty much necessary. Battery and glass, which is pretty simple. Just 2 quartz, but that needs more copper, and we're already on a bit of like a copper shortage. We can get the 2 quartz right here, probably. Oh, okay, perfect. I can't, or limestone, I mean. God, it's copper. There's another crash fish. This may actually kill me. That was close. Yeah, like I said, that's really your only main threat, and once you get the sea glide, you can completely outrun them, so as long as you feel them coming, which is pretty easy to do, you don't really have to worry about them anymore. But right now, well, they can outrun us, and they are still a bit threat. So, try to avoid them if you can. And they're only really found cave systems, so yeah. More limestone, give us copper. We need only 1 more copper, actually. 3 if we want to make the flashlight, but I can do it a bit later. Just once it turns daytime, I'll have no problem. Okay, now that it is turning daytime, hopefully you'll find some saw as well. But I can find the copper. Eggs. Hey, there's the other quartz we need, and there's some titanium. I mean, limestone. I don't call it titanium. Gave us titanium. Copper. Okay, so we can make sea glide, I believe. And if we can manage to find 2 more copper. Oh, if we can manage to find 1 more copper, we can also make the flashlight. 1 more copper. What's over here? Please, copper, copper, copper. There's gotta be another chunk in here. Nope. Copper. Yep. That's a crash fish thing down there. I don't want to go. Whoa, but there's titanium. Should I risk it? Uh-oh. He's really coming after me. If I die here, I'm never forgetting it. I did not die. Oh, please, copper. No, this game hates me. 1 copper and I can live in perfect harmony. Salvation. I can go back home with my family. I just guess it's not meant for me. Limestone. Get my breath. Down, copper. Pog! Okay, so we have everything we need, and I'm probably gonna end the broadcast after this and pick up the next episode. Probably later tonight, if not, then tomorrow, where we do some more scanning for fragments and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't actually find some, but like I mentioned, to make bleach, to make water, all you need is those giant coral tubes and salt, which apparently we couldn't find any salt. I swear I must have walked past like a ton. I just wasn't paying attention. I couldn't really see anything, but I already showed you what salt looks like. It's pretty hard to miss. It's right out, so if you do see any other giant coral tubes, it is an easy source of water. So now we're going to convert our quartz to glass and make both a flashlight and a sea glide. I'll give you a brief demonstration of both in a broadcast. So we're going to need that copper wire and that battery. We need 2 batteries, right? I guess all we need is 2 acid mushrooms. Get that. but they can be found like right on top of these. There we go. 1, 2. And yeah, I'm not really scanning anything since I know what all this does, but if you are curious or something that I keep passing by that looks important, it probably isn't kind of important, it's not right now. Feel free to scan that. I'm gonna heal up real quick.
Continued degradation of the auroras.
Okay,
Drive core may result in a quantum detonation. Continuing to monitor.
Make that battery, and now we can make the Seaglide and the flashlight down here in tools, flashlight, and down here in the floatables. There we go. So to show you what each does, I imagine you can probably use your mind to figure out what the flashlight actually does, but just in case, it won't be too effective now that it's daylight, obviously. But yeah, light. Let there be light. Beautiful. Best friend at nighttime. However, I guess I probably should have thought about this. The Seaglide also has a sort of built-in flashlight that you can use. It's not as effective, I don't think, but it is pretty good. So yeah, this is a Seaglide. It allows you to travel much faster underwater, but the only downside is that it does take quite a bit of power. You can see right above there, my toolbar, there's the power. It's about to go down to 98, and yeah, so once it hits 0, you can't use it anymore. Well, like you can use it, you just have to swap the batteries out, and you can do that by either swapping it out of another thing by pressing square on PS4 and just swapping the batteries, or by just making new ones. Later on you'll be able to charge your batteries, but I won't spoil that, so you won't have to remember that forever. But for a little while in the early game, you will have to replace batteries fairly frequently, especially if you're going to be using light a lot, which I do recommend. And also, just as a demonstration, notice how we're able to counter-run that faster. Here's another one over here. As long as you run away from them, you shouldn't take any damage, meaning the only real threat in the safe shallows and the kelp forest here are these things. If you go too close to them, that killed me so fast, but I don't care because I didn't really lose anything. Yeah, as you can see, you want to watch out for those. Like, they won't really attack you unless they feel threatened. But those and the stalkers, which aren't too bad, but can deal some damage to you. Right before I leave, there, just in case you don't know, I assume if you're playing this game, you probably already got the gist. But a few places you don't want to go. If you start to see red grass and just deeper water up to around 100 meters, that is a good. That is like a great place to go for fragments. But it just got a few dangerous creatures, and that's probably going to be going the next video. So you can go there, but there are some dangers, and I recommend looting a bit more in the safe shallows in the kelp forest before venturing there. And obviously, this direction over here, this beautiful ship. I recommend not going here for quite a long while for a lot of reasons. One, you can't get inside till a major event happens, which I won't spoil. Two, if you can get inside, you need a bunch of tools, which you get from fragments. And three, there may or may not be some scary looking things over by this, so best to avoid it till much later on in the game. But yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. Next you do see thing I'm later tonight or tomorrow, in which I will do a bit more fragments, maybe get a few more tools, before venturing into the grassy plateaus, which are the red grass biomes that I mentioned, which have a lot more fragments, a lot more loot, but also more predators. So yeah, I don't know why 3 people stopped in this broadcast, but thank you to those Chans and Chanets, I guess, and yeah. Part 2 coming soon.